What is the optimal wildcard team for FPL Gameweek 5? Well, I'm pitting the 4 game weeks of form information against the upcoming fixture ticker to help decide on the best team and to help me make a decision on my own team of whether I should go 1 week earlier than planned with the wildcard. Help me get this one to 500 likes and subscribe if you're enjoying it. Let's get into it. Let's start with the form charts then, and we do have a full complement of 4 game weeks of information now. Interestingly enough, we've got teams like Crystal Palace down at the bottom, so if you're invested in Eze or looking at Mateta or Nketiah, that is a little bit of a worry to see them so low. We see Brighton drop out of the top 3, having failed to score against Ipswich at home. Arsenal coming in 3rd place on the rise after beating Spurs, slightly ahead of Aston Villa and Newcastle. In 2nd place it is Liverpool, despite their first defeat of the season at the hands of Nottingham Forest, and out in front, and significantly 1 point or more out in front, it's Manchester City. 11 goals this season, 9 of them coming from Erling Haaland. No other team has scored 8 or more goals. That just goes to show how clinical Haaland and City have been this season. You simply cannot ignore them. Moving on to the latest fixture charts, they're here then, and there's not that much to split the teams, if I'm honest. You can kind of throw a blanket over all of them. There's no clear fixture swings, certainly for this game week, and I think if you look at the form of teams, which has been patchy, this is why the fixture ticker isn't maybe as useful or as telling as it has been in previous weeks. We do see that Brentford are well up there now. If they get that Spurs fixture out the way, they're likely to go even higher. Liverpool still featuring highly as well, despite a few trickier fixtures perhaps on the horizon. In 3rd place though, it's Everton, not a team that we're maybe considering in FPL, but they are scoring goals. They're just conceding plenty as well, but we're looking at attacking players here, so Everton's still a consideration. In 2nd place, remaining firm up there, it's Aston Villa with a great run of fixtures, including Wolves at home and Ipswich away in the next 2 game weeks. But on top spot, coming from nowhere it feels like, is West Ham. They have got Chelsea, Brentford and Ipswich in the next 3 game weeks, and now look like there could be a team to target. They're not a team I've seen discussed maybe in FPL circles that much at all, so watch out for the Hammers now. Looking at the overall chart then, and right off the bottom it's Southampton and Wolves. Those assets should be going nowhere near our FPL teams. Crystal Palace not doing that much better either. It's interesting to see what's happening at the top though. We see that Brighton have slipped out of the top 3 for the first time I think so far this season. In 3rd place it's Aston Villa, certainly a team that we really need to be bringing on board now that they've got a bit of form to show with those fixtures. Liverpool remain firm in 2nd place despite that hiccup at the weekend, but out in front by some way it is Manchester City, which begs the question, should we be tripled up on Manchester City players, or is Haaland being so clinical that we can get away with just owning him? Let's have a look then at building a wildcard team, keeping those Form V fixture charts in mind. And again, I feel like I have to start with Haaland plus Salah. That feels like the combo now. Liverpool still doing well in the charts, but we're going to see competition and rotation in the front 3, particularly for Diaz and Jota getting subbed early for the likes of Gakpo and Darwin Núñez. So I feel like you have to go Salah as the attacker. You have to go with Haaland from Manchester City as well. Now, in a previous wildcard team, I did look to get De Bruyne in to double up on the City attack. But in this draft, I've actually looked to double up with Savino, who I think is a really attractive option, given that he's now looking like a starter. He's got some set-piece responsibility. I think the returns are coming for him. No room to double up on Liverpool attackers then, and I would love to squeeze Trent into the defence, but he's just too expensive to afford all the other picks. So it's Robertson that comes in. So it's double City and double Liverpool. No slice of the City defence because of a lack of consistency, and no room for a third Liverpool player in there either. Another key team to target was Aston Villa, and Watkins, given his great performance at the weekend, including those underlying numbers and an increase in minutes, he is in. And I'm also looking at the double up with Rodgers, who is yet to produce an attacking return this season, but still looks great, still passing the eye test. In game week 4 alone, he had 4 shots, 3 on target, 2 big chances. The returns have to come for Rodgers, and at 5.1 million, he makes the ideal 7th attacker. Speaking of other teams to consider then, Arsenal were in 4th place. David Raya, still the cheapest route into their defence, providing fantastic consistency, absolutely nailed to start as well. So he is a little bit of an expensive luxury, and with Saka flagged with an injury, it's Havertz for the attacking threat from Arsenal. It looks like even with Odegaard out, he will continue to play that advanced role, which is what we needed to see. Jesus, I don't think he's going to be able to disrupt that Arsenal attack at the moment. So very happy there. And Brighton is now a move just for a double up. Matoma, I can just about afford him. It may be that if you've not got the same team value as me, you have to go with a Minte or someone else to afford a Brighton attacker. I do think Matoma's still the best one from the midfielders. No room in the forward line. That Watkins, Haaland, Havertz seems like the optimal right now. And Lewis Dunk, a player that I regret not bringing in my own team for game week 4, kept a clean sheet. I think that Brighton defence is going to be quite a good one to target so far this season. So I guess there's only 5 teams covered here in the 11, but they are great teams to target. There is enough money in the bank to afford some bench players, but it would be the cheapest players at each price point in each position. So you may want to be a little bit more flexible with the budget than I have here to be able to afford a bit more on the bench. I think if I was actually playing the wild card this week, I would have to make a sacrifice to improve at least the first sub on the bench from being a 4.5 million midfielder. A few things to note though that's changed from last week. I guess the thing here is that I look at my team at the moment. I have got cover from City and Liverpool. I've got no Arsenal players, no Villa players, no Brighton players. I can get away with the Arsenal players though, with City away next. There's a few fitness concerns as well. If Saka was fully fit, I'd probably want him over Havertz. Do we know if Watkins is fully fit yet? Well, it depends on how involved he is in the meantime. So I think having one more week of information is going to be key for me to lock in a Game Week 6 wildcard via Game Week 5 wildcard and get that City v Arsenal fixture out of the way. So I personally, after making this team, feel like I'm going to wait one more week, but you may be in a different position to that. The fixture ticker in this video is taken from Fantasy Football Hub. You can get 50% off right now using the link in the description to this video. Let me know what you think of the wildcard team. Are you activating your own wildcard this week? Let's get this one to 500 likes, subscribe and hit the notify button, because tomorrow I'll be back with the experts team reveal as well. Thank you for watching.